Hi, this is Jaci Russo. Welcome to iDS Talks podcast. Joining me today are not just one, but two special guests, Pam Keller and Lisa Evans. Ladies, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Good morning.
Thank you.
Thank you both so much for being here. So today we have some exciting things to talk about. Basically, a vacation, y'all. No, sorry, not vacation. Spa and resort work trip that you are going on to San Diego. I want to talk about the Women in eDiscovery conference because I think it's so important for women to have the opportunity to network in this way and really share lessons learned and strategies and have that bonding experience. Now, is this the first time that y'all are going to the conference?
This is my first time attending. I'm super excited. I've heard a lot of great things and looking forward to catching up with a lot of people.
Right. Lisa, how about you?
Same. It is my first time attending the conference, although been involved with Women in eDiscovery in the US and the UK. So it'll be neat to be able to actually go to the conference.
Right. It's interesting, I think, as we look at this conference, which is going to be in May, as really it's one of the first few live in-person conferences as we're coming out of the past 2 years. And I think everybody's just a little giddy about the ability to network in person and meet the people you've been Zooming with for the past 2 years. So are there any specific relationships that you've built up over the past couple of years that you're looking forward to having that opportunity for in-person discussion and connection?
Yes, I mean, there's so many people, it's hard to even quantify that you haven't seen in person or had that opportunity to make those connections. But then there's also those that you've only ever known virtually. And to be able to have that in-person connection and time to just talk together and have that in-person experience is truly going to be very special. And I'm sure everybody is very excited about that.
Right. Pam, how about you? Anybody in particular that you've met over the past couple of years you're looking forward to seeing in person?
I mean, I'm like Lisa. I'm just looking forward to seeing everyone. I've been in this industry for over 30 years, so I know a lot of incredible women, and I know a lot of them are going to be at this event, and I'm just really excited to be able to reconnect with folks in person over a glass of wine and over some good learning sessions. I actually cover. I'm the meetings director for Women in eDiscovery in Richmond, and I haven't seen any of those ladies in person in 2 years. So.
Wow. Now, Pam, you mentioned being in this industry for 30 years, which is an accomplishment in and of itself. Tell me a little bit about your background in eDiscovery and your role at iDS.
Sure. So I started, I like to say I grew up in a law firm. I started at Squire Patton Boggs many, many years ago, and I actually managed training and support for the entire firm. And decided to make a move out of that. I took a little bit of a break. We had some family things going on at the time. I took a little bit of break, and I moved into immediately after that into an eDiscovery role for one of the competitors, and I started there. I jumped right into sales, which wasn't something that I had done in the past. But I absolutely loved it. And I find this side of the fence just really challenging and rewarding. And I have just really enjoyed, I've also enjoyed working in a law firm. I learned a lot, and I feel like it really prepared me to be on this side of the fence. But I love what I do, and I love where I work, and I love the people that I get to interact with every day.
Right. No, absolutely. And Lisa, how about you? Tell me a little bit about your background in eDiscovery and your role at iDS.
Sure. So my background in eDiscovery began post-law school. So I was a paralegal and decided to go to law school, and then found myself in a large room full of people doing doc review, and curiosity got the best of me, and I was intrigued about the technology that we were using at that time. And so my career is now 10 plus years in eDiscovery. And so if you had asked me when I went to law school if that's where I would have ended up, I would have looked askance at you. But it's now becoming such an integral part in the development of lawyers and not just technology. So I'm very excited about the education, and that's really been something I've prided myself on over the years. And it's been interesting to see the evolution of where it used to just be, oh, that's a tech problem, I don't need to understand that. And now lawyers are really digging in and they're understanding, artificial intelligence and all sorts of what were commonly technical things are now very much part of legal education. So I'm thankful for a young associate who's now counsel at a lovely firm for taking a chance on me and really letting me learn and educating me on eDiscovery and planting that seed. Right. It's enabled me to move all over the world and have a very fulfilling career.
Oh, that's awesome. Pam, you mentioned that you hold a leadership role in the Women in eDiscovery organization and conference. How long have you been a part of that, and what's that role look like, and how has it evolved?
Sure. So I'm fairly new to the role. I've been involved in Women in eDiscovery for years, the DC chapter, the Richmond chapter, and the Philly chapter. But I took this role on a few months ago, and I knew this group of ladies. They called me specifically and asked me if I would be involved. So basically my role is to assist with finding the speakers for our meetings and getting everything organized, kind of what you've done with us today, and just helping to decide on content and what would be good for the ladies in the Women in eDiscovery group.
Right. No, that's awesome. And I'm certain that your knowledge and experience and background has been so beneficial to bringing all that kind of full circle. So Lisa, you've had exposure to the US chapter and the UK chapter, right? So talk to us a little bit about your history with the organization.
So Women in eDiscovery, it has always been, an organization that I followed, and I try to make meetings, admittedly, in some of my roles as a project manager, clients' needs would supersede meetings. But in the UK, they were rolling out the Women in eDiscovery team. So I literally got to see sort of the beginning of it and how it grew even there. And it was very nice to have, and this was pre-pandemic, the ability to go and meet in person and get to know other women in eDiscovery. Being an American overseas, it's nice, we had this common theme of being women and being in eDiscovery. And it was also very neat to see it developing overseas and how it was received over there, because it had been in the US for a while. And the creative ways that the UK chapter really spread the word and socialized the Women in eDiscovery in London, and then other follow-on chapters all throughout Europe. So coming back to the US, it was like a warm hug to come back to the DC Women in eDiscovery. And then Pam has been so kind to loop me in with the Richmond, Women in eDiscovery. And I really think that's the interesting thing. So to be fair, Pam and I didn't work together at the time, but I got looped in to do a speaking event. So you really never know from one day or another, given this industry, if at some point somebody that you've seen at meetings might become a colleague, or they might have a resource that you might need to know about. So there's this amazing network that you just can't put a price tag on. And so it may be at a spa, but we're really there to connect with one another and just really fortify those connections at this conference.
Right. No, and I love that. Lisa, have you already started to kind of bookmark, circle, notate certain sessions on the schedule that you want to attend? What are you looking to learn about?
Yeah. So, I mean, to be fair, I want to attend as many of the knowledge sessions, but I'm also interested in some of the revive sessions. The past 2 years plus have been they've been busy for everybody in this industry. We've adapted and pivoted in so many ways, and so I think I'm actually really interested to see what other people are doing to revive themselves. That said, the knowledge sessions as well. It's always interesting to hear what pain points or different challenges people are working through, and creative solutions. I'm always amazed every time I join a conference or something else. What a new innovation is. Coming along to address another challenge that we face.
Right. Pam, how about you? What does your dance card look like in terms of sessions? Are there certain that you've kind of put a little asterisk by and you're looking forward to that module?
I'm really very similar to Lisa. I'm just looking forward to everything that the conference has to offer. It's been such a long time that we haven't been able to, again, sit in person and watch a panel or be involved with a session. But as Lisa mentioned earlier, our ever evolving industry, it's so nice to be able to sit down and kind of hear where folks are and where they're going, and just kind of start to foresee where the future lies with these very big data problems that we have today. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Right. Oh, that's awesome. So when I think about your industry and the challenges for women, I think your industry is similar to our industry. For decades in the advertising world, 3% of the teams were women, and yet 90% of the clientele were women. So it was always kind of a conflict. Talk to me a little bit about the challenges for women in the eDiscovery field, and in your vast experience, Pam. Where do you see the opportunities coming?
Well, it's a man's world, and while we're definitely making strides every day, and we're putting our footprint into the industry, and because I've been in the industry for so long, I've seen great strides in where we've come from to where we are today, and that's really refreshing. I think that for women, the road is endless. I mean, the opportunities are endless, and there are so many different types of roles in this industry, depending on what your personality is and what it is that you like to do. I would say, for anybody looking to move in this direction, just talk to folks, because that's what we do, right? I mean, this is going to be a great place to get to know other women in the industry, and what it is that they do, what they love about their job and their role, maybe some of the challenges that they face, and that's how I would encourage women coming into our industry, and girl power is very strong. So
Right, absolutely. Lisa, what do you think? I mean, do you feel like in some ways women are more naturally wired to be really great at eDiscovery?
Well, it does require a lot of multitasking, and that is something that, at least objective, in my opinion, this is not the opinion of anyone else. Women are quite good at that. And juggling a lot of competing interests and demands, and whether that's a biological programming or something that we've just kind of developed as a mode of survival, I can't answer to that, but it does play well in the industry in balancing various tasks and requests. I was just thinking while you were talking about, like your data itself, it doesn't identify itself as male or female. It's data. It's an email. So it really, there shouldn't be a huge difference between whether a woman's involved or a man's involved, but we do have different ways of thinking about things and tackling different problems. And so I think that's really what Women in eDiscovery has managed to do, is to highlight that like women should be at the table, not just because we are women, but because we have a different way of thinking about things or looking at things. There's some brilliant, thought leaders in the industry that are women, and they are just they're amazing. And it's not really a comparison; it's just completing that picture, right? To having that thought, to having that input, and that development of how we tackle problems, how we address different questions. And something else that I think, as Women in eDiscovery is a very inclusive group. It's not just furthering women, but it's also other underrepresented groups within eDiscovery as well. So while you're raising women up, to be raising other people up as well. And so I think there's a lot of compassion that is brought to the table through Women in eDiscovery.
Oh, no, I think that's a great point. Pam, anything that you want to add to that?
No, I think, I think that as women, as Lisa mentioned, we do bring a different set of skills. Organization is another one that comes to mind when I think about our role and our job. And I just think that when you combine, right, the teams, there is a place at the table for us. And I think this is why this group, I believe, was partially created to begin with, and years ago. And it's really given us a space to come together and talk about these things. But I think that we've made it obvious that we deserve that place at the table.
100%. I couldn't agree more. Pam, what advice would you give to women who are looking to go into this field in terms of, their personality traits, their curriculum, their knowledge base? What path would you set them on?
Well, as I mentioned earlier, I think it just really depends on who you are and what you're looking for. I mean, me personally, I'm on the business development side. So typically that requires an outgoing personality, someone that likes to get out and talk to people and interact, someone that likes to be a problem solver, to become a partner with another organization. But there is a place for everyone in this industry. If you're more of a behind the scenes person and you're more technical, I mean, certainly maybe you want to be a project manager. So I think it just really depends on who you are. But like I mentioned, there's a great group of women out there that's always willing to sit down and talk about who they are and what they do and what they love. And if that's, if you're interested in entering this industry and you're not already a part of it, or maybe you're looking to consider a different role, use the women that are around you, because every one of us will step up to the plate and be more than happy to talk about what we do on a daily basis and why we love it.
Right. No, absolutely. So ladies, I know you're looking forward to attending this conference. I am now, after talking to you, quite jealous that I am not also attending this conference. And I know everyone else who's listening is thinking, how can I get to San Diego at the beginning of May? So tell me, what question do you wish I had asked, and what would the answer have been? Lisa, I'll let you go first.
Ooh.
I know.
I would say, what is the biggest challenge looking forward for women in eDiscovery?
Great question.
Now I have to have an answer.
Unless you want to ask Pam and maybe put Pam on the hot spot.
I
will, if you want to, Pam, but I'll try to give it a whack. So I think at this point, there's a lot of momentum and a lot of change occurring. And I think the biggest challenge is to keep that momentum going. And that's why this conference is so critical, especially after having, so long where we couldn't meet in person, to keep that momentum going, to keep that energy going, and to really take women in eDiscovery to the next level.
No, that's great. Great question and great answer. Pam, I'll give you the chance to put yourself on the hot seat. What would you ask yourself that I missed?
Well, I think we've talked a lot about challenges, being a woman in eDiscovery. I think, what do we love about it? And I think, what we love about it is the challenge, right? Every day it's different, right? Every day our job is something new. Every day we meet new people. Every day there's a new problem to solve. And I feel like as a woman, as we mentioned, we bring a different skill set to the table. And I do think that, the wonderful men in our industry are seeing that. And I'm appreciative of that. I think that, it's come a long way from when I started 30 years ago. So I love being a woman in this industry. I do. I love just having those challenges and being able to see the progress that we've made.
Right. Pam and Lisa, thank you both for your time. I raise a glass to you, each of you, and I wish you a successful journey, a great trip, safe travels to San Diego and to the Women in eDiscovery Conference. And for everyone watching and joining us today on the iDS Talks podcast, thank you so much. As always, please like, share, and follow. And we appreciate you all. And we look forward to the next episode.
Thanks for having me.